Conversation continues now with our panel of attorneys for legal analysis, joined by Chip Merlin. He's here with us. Also with us, criminal defense attorney Michael Gottlieb, and here in studio, trial attorney Nicole Brunecki. So welcome all, and thanks for coming on. Chip, can I start with you, and let's talk about the Trump attorney legal argument, just overall sort of broad picture, how you think Dean John Sauer had answered questions from the justices when he had the floor.
Well, I thought it was pretty good. It seemed to me that, you know, all presidents, and I think they're making the point, all presidents can't be held in a position of being blackmailed about some future criminal prosecution that might come as a result of what they're doing as president of the United States. And I also felt that he also, you know, gave in just a little bit about that by saying that, well, private acts by the president that are not official acts might end up being with criminal prosecution, because they have been arguing for a blanket presidential immunity for everything that Donald Trump had been doing during the time that he was president, so that he could fulfill his duties as president without having to worry about what would happen after he left office.
And Nicole, when we left off and cut out, we were listening to the attorney for special counsel for the DOJ. What did you make of those arguments?
The DOJ is trying to limit the interpretation of what these official acts would entail, because the other side is obviously trying to paint with a very broad brush. And if the justices stick to that, then it can have credible implications for future presidents and for the role of the president in general.
Sure. There's a lot at stake here, clearly, and we haven't really experienced anything like this before. In fact, Trump is the only former president to go on a criminal trial and face these criminal charges. So we're all wading through it together. Michael, wanted to get your overall thoughts. Again, going back to the Trump attorneys here, how do you think John Sauer did? And do you think he convinced SCOTUS completely with the argument, arguing for full presidential immunity?
So I think it's an incredibly interesting argument. It's a case of first impression, as we've all discussed. The Supreme Court questioning that I heard did not sound like they were convinced. In fact, it sounded like they were perhaps convinced that Trump knew what he was doing, that he was, you know, perhaps inciting election fraud, and that is clearly outside the scope of his Article II presidential responsibilities. So I'm not convinced, even though there are 3 Trump appointees on this court, that the court is going to rule fully in favor of Trump's attorneys.
Yeah, at least thus far, it didn't sound like that, though we don't know if an emergency ruling will come down or if they'll wait until June on this one. But either way, the bigger picture, it delays special counsel Jack Smith's case against Trump to seemingly come after the election in November. Chip Merlin, Michael Gottlieb, Nicole Brunecki, thank you all. We do appreciate that.